Welcome to our ADM Lucid Automation Testing channel. We'll have a series of talk about Selenium automation testing, which will help you understand the basics of Selenium and also guide you to build your own Selenium automation project. You may access our test project and guide in the description below. Feel free to subscribe to our channel for any new videos and updates. In today's video, I will be giving an example using popular websites such as monday.com, theweather.com, and hotels.com. So I'm going to show you an example Selenium Maven project that you could do yourself. So first, I have IntelliJ open right here, and I'm going to start a new project. So I'm going to go to the top, click File, click New, and then click Project. I'm going to give it a name, and it's going to be Video Example. And I'm going to make sure I have Java and Maven selected. So then I can just go ahead and create. And I'm just going to create it on this window right here. Once I have this created, I just want to show you a few things of our new project. The first is we have our main class right here. And I can actually go ahead and run the main class. And it'll basically type out hello world. And that's what we have right now for the main class. So the first thing I want to do, or I want to bring to your attention, is later on when we're writing tests, we're actually going to write our test right here under this package called test right here, test Java. And we'll be adding our classes down here. Before we do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I change the pom.xml file so that we have the dependencies we want. So I'm going to go here to the pom.xml file, and what I have to do is I'm going to type dependencies, and then now I can paste all the dependencies we have in between these two lines. So the first dependency we need is Selenium Maven. So I'm going to go ahead and type Selenium Maven here, or Selenium Java right here. And I'm going to add 4.1.5. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go to our project right here. I'm going to paste it right in between. The next thing we need is JUnit. So again, I'm going to go to this repository and I'm going to type JUnit. And I'm going to open up this JUnit right here and 4.13.2. Go ahead and copy. Go ahead and copy the whole thing. And I'm going to go ahead and go to our project, video example, and I'm going to paste it again. So this time, after we have our two dependencies here, you have to update your pom.xml file by clicking right here, load Maven changes, and it will load your Maven changes. Okay. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and create our test classes. So the first test class I'm going to create is the hotel test class. And the whole goal of this hotel test class is we want to test our hotel website, hotels.com. So I'm going to open up a Chrome right here, and I'm just going to show you the website that we want to test. So this is the website we want to test, and basically the functionality we want to test is we want to go to the search bar right here, and we want to search for a location, for instance, Las Vegas. And we want to click search. So that's the first functionality. The second functionality is after we search a location, we want to search by property name afterwards here. For instance, we can type Holiday Inn and search here. So that's what we want to test on this hotel website. So let's make our class. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to Java right here. And I'm going to make new class, Java class. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to name it Hotel Test. So Hotel Test. And I'm going to make the class. And this is our hotel class now. It doesn't have anything. So the first thing we have to do is we have to import our dependencies. So for instance, to import your dependency, you type import, and then you type org dot for us, we want to use JUnit, and then I want to use JUnit after. So I can go ahead and click enter. I also want to import JUnit before, and I want to import JUnit test. So those are the JUnit packages that I want to import. To save us some time, I'm just going to copy and paste some text that I have for imports. So I'm just going to paste it over. Copy that. I'm going to paste over here. So some other things we want to import is Selenium keys, Selenium WebDriver, Chrome driver, Chrome options, web element, and buy. So these are also things that we want to import. All right. Now that I've imported this, I'm going to start by first creating an instance for the WebDriver. So I'm going to create a private WebDriver, and it's going to be called driver. So that's our instance. Now let's go ahead and start with our first method of the class. So for the first method class, I'm just going to copy and paste over some text so I don't have to type it all for you. So first, for the JUnit, I'm going to use the app before tag here, and this is going to be set up. So the first thing we're setting up is we're creating the Chrome driver instance and the Chrome options instance as well. And then the second thing we're loading the URL hotels.com, which I mentioned before is the website we want to test. All right, now that we have this before tag, we can use the test tag now for JUnit, and we can have our first test class or a test method. So for our first test method, I'm just gonna copy and paste it over right here, and this is basically, here we go. So I'm gonna call it search for hotels, and we're basically what we do is first we create a web element, and this is the web element we have to search for, and then web element dates. These are some other things we have to search for, where we search for by element, and we have the search button as well. And we basically create an object for these web elements so that ultimately what we can do is we can go to that text area, which is right here, and then we can enter Las Vegas and then click search afterwards. So we go to that location, we enter Las Vegas, and then we click enter. And so this is our first test. Let us write a second test. So again, I'm gonna copy and paste some text over because it's gonna take me a while for me to just write it over. So let's have this. So here we have a second test, and again we're using a test tag, and this test is called set filters now. And in this test, again, we see that the similarity between these two tests right here, the only difference is here we use Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, and up there we use Las Vegas. So we have that first portion, but then the second portion, after we get our results from the search, what we're actually going to do is we're going to find these elements right here, and we're going to get all the different locations or the different hotels that have Holiday Inn. So that's what we have for this second test class. And after we have that, I'm going to have the after tag now for JUnit, and I'm going to go ahead and write that. So I'm just going to do after, yep. And then we're going to have we're just going to call it teardown. So we're just going to write teardown. And let's just, for the purpose of this test, let's not have the web page close after it's done. But usually you can have this to close, because I want to show you what happens afterwards. So now that we have that, before we can run these test classes, I'm actually going to have to copy some stuff over. So I'm actually going to have to first go to, I'm going to have to go to here, and I'm going to create a new package actually. I'm going to create a new package, and it's going to be called config. And what I'm going to do in this package is I'm actually going to go ahead and paste 2 classes. So I've pasted these 2 classes, and basically what they contain is they just contain login information. But for this right here, we don't need it yet, but later on we'll have it. But I'm just gonna put it over for now so that we can use it later. But yeah, this just basically contains the username and passwords for different websites I'll be testing later on. I'm not gonna open it because I don't want to show you my username and password. But yeah, let's test the new class we just wrote. So I'm gonna save, and to test each individual method within your class, you can just go ahead and go to here. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to search for hotel here. I'm gonna right click, and you see you can run search for hotel right here. And I'm gonna let it run. I'm gonna drag the URL, the website opens. So it goes to the website, goes here, types Vegas, and it searches. And voila, that's the result we wanted. So we see that that works as we expect it to. Now let's go to this second method here, where we call it set filters. So again, remember we want it to go to Kelowna, search for Kelowna, and then find the Holiday Inn hotels. So again, I'm gonna go to this block right here of code, and I'm gonna run set filters right here. And I'm gonna maximize this window. So right here, it should type Kelowna. Yep, searches. And then what it's going to do is it's gonna search for Holiday Inn right here and find all the different hotels called all the Holiday Inn hotels in Kelowna. All right, so that works as we expected. So now I'm gonna close this. All right, so next what we can do is we can test for the next thing we want to test for. So the next thing what we want to test for is on monday.com. And let me just show you what we want to test for. So this is sort of the interface you have on monday.com after you basically create an account and log in and you have a project running. So what we want to test for is we want to have one user go to here and start a conversation and send some text over. And then what we want to test for after that is for the second user to log in and see if that text is there. So that's essentially what we want to test for. So to do that, let's go back to this class right here. And what we can do is we can create another Java class, and we're going to call it Monday Test. So we have that. Again, we have to import some dependencies. So let us do that. So again, first thing what we have to import is the JUnit dependencies. So I'm gonna import after, I'm gonna import before, and I'm actually just gonna copy and paste them over because there's quite a few of them that we have to import. So I'm gonna paste it here. So we imported test as well. We imported Selenium. We imported Firefox driver instead this time, so we're using Firefox. We imported the UI expected conditions right here, and then we imported WebDriver waits, selects. We also imported some other things for duration, list, test manager, and stuff. And yeah, so these are all the things we had to import for this Monday test. All right, now that we have imported this, let's go ahead and write our code. So the first thing we have to do is we have to basically create some instances for the entire class. So I'm just gonna paste this over and I'm gonna go through this. So the first thing is, of course, we have the WebDriver instance. Second is we have our username 1 and username 2, because remember on our test, we have basically the first user has to sign in, create a conversation, and the second user has to check that. And of course, we have their corresponding passwords. And then we have a test manager right here. All right, that's once we have that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create now the before for JUnit. So we're gonna, let's just call it setup. Setup. And okay, so in here, what we're going to do is, I'm just gonna paste over, is we're basically creating the Firefox options and the Firefox driver, because we mentioned we're using Firefox, and we basically enter the URL that we want and stuff. And under that, we're basically using the config file to create the username right here. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now we can go ahead and go to our tests. So let's do the first part, the first test, where we're basically having one user log in and create a conversation. So we're going to use the test tag, and we're going to call it, let's just call it user1, because this is the first user deals with it. And well, this one can throw a exception, so interrupted exception, and yeah, we have that. Let's funky someone do that. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna copy the paste the code over. So this should be web element. Yeah, so let me explain to you what we have here. So the first thing we do is we have the web element user, and this is basically on the URL on the website where you identify the area that you have to enter your user email or username and so on, and then we basically enter our username, and then we enter our password as well in the location that we have to enter password, and then we log in. So after we log in, we're basically looking for the specific location to add a conversation, and we're gonna click that, and then after that we're gonna go to here and we're gonna enter hi May, how the project go, and then after that we're gonna submit it, and then we're gonna submit. We're gonna find the web element for submit, and then we're gonna submit that conversation to the other user. So this is the first part of our test. Let us go to the second part of our test. This second part of our test, this will involve the second user. So this will be user 2. And again, these may throw exceptions, so it's good to try to catch these. And again, I'm just gonna copy and paste this over. And this time, again, the second user enters their username, password, and logs in, and it's gonna wait for a little bit to make sure everything is good. And what they're gonna go is they're gonna find basically the location in their interface and check if hi May, how the project goes is actually there. So we have our before and test tag. Now it's for our after tag. So since we're not really that worried about the after tag right now, I'm just gonna use this for now. I have driver quit commented out so that it doesn't close the browser afterwards, so we can see what actually happens. All right, so this is our Monday test. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this. So I'm gonna run each individual, and again, individually. So user 1 first, I'm gonna run that. And I'm gonna drag this window over, open, so that it logs in with your username and password. After you log in, give it some time to load. What it's gonna do is it's gonna go to your conversation right here, and it's gonna click hi May, how the project goes, and enter that. And we see that that went through. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close this now because we are done with that. So once that is done, so that's the first user, let's see the second user test. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna run user 2. I'm gonna go ahead and open this, and we see enters the user 2 login and username, and it's gonna basically check this location right here with the conversation. So it's gonna go through a wait because we defined wait. So give it some time, and it's gonna open that, and it's gonna check if hi May, how the project goes is there, and so it works as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that because we didn't define driver quit right here, and yeah, it's gonna give some errors because I closed it, but we're good. So this is what we want to test, and yeah, it works. All right, so finally what we're gonna test for is we're actually gonna test for this the Weather Network website. And what we're gonna test is we're gonna test adding a location right here. So we're gonna try and add Edmonton, Alberta right here. And so there's a few things we need to know is once you click add location, it creates this pop-up that we call active element. And we're actually going to have to switch from the background to the active element to actually enter the Edmonton. So I'm going to show you how we do that in our code so that when you encounter such circumstances, you know what to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to create another class. And this time, it's going to be the weather test. So go ahead and click weather test. So in our weather test class, there's a few things we have to do first. Again, we have to import the different packages that we'll be using. So like before, I'm just going to copy and paste over because it's quite similar. So again, we have the JUnit stuff that we're using. We're using Edge browser this time instead, so Edge driver, Edge options, and then we have the expected conditions and the other things as well that we'll be using. So the standard that we used in the previous two. And again, standard, we're creating some instances for the entire class. So we have the WebDriver, the test manager, the username, and the password as well. Because again, we have to sign into our username and password for the weather network in order to work with, in order to add a location and stuff. Okay, so now that we have that, let us create our before method. So I'm just gonna call it setup again, because what we'll be doing in this is we'll be setting up. And so we have that, and this time what we're gonna be doing for the setup is first, we're gonna create the instances for the WebDriver and the Edge options. We're gonna go to the weather network, and then we're also gonna create a username and password. We're gonna try to find our username and password from the config file that we specified up here, but I won't be showing you. Okay, so that's our before, and now we can go ahead and write our test classes. So let's write our first test class. This will be adding a location, or let's write our test class. I think adding a location. So this will involve adding a location. So what we're gonna call it is we're gonna call add location, and this one can throw an interruption error as well. So go ahead and write that. And now I'm just actually going to copy and paste over some text because it's quite lengthy. And this is what we have here. So basically, again, what we do is we log in from our password and email, and we basically, we enter our password, we're entering our username, and then we're clicking submit so that we enter. Now, once we do that, once we're logged in stuff, we're gonna find that add location button right here, and we're gonna click it, and then what we're going to do is we're gonna click location search. And see here, we have to switch to an active element because the pop-up is different. We're gonna click location search and we click enter Edmonton, and then we have to switch. So we have to switch active elements, and yeah, that's what we have there. And then again, we have to switch active elements back, and then we have to basically save the location. And I'm going to show you how that works afterwards. But before that, I'm going to write another second class right here. And this class is going to be another test class, and it's going to be deleting the location we just added. So delete location. And oh, I forgot to throw an interruption error. Throws. Yeah, so, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste the code again. So we have here, and we're gonna go ahead, enter our username, password, log in. We're gonna find the one that we want to delete, and we're gonna click delete the element, delete location right here, and then it should delete the location. And finally, for our after class, or our after method for JUnit, I'm just going to paste that. And again, we have driver commented out. So now we can go ahead and test this. So we're going to go ahead and go here, and we're going to run add location. I'm going to write this over again. It signs in. It signs in to the URL that we want. Give it some time to load. It goes to the edit location, and then what it's going to do is it's going to enter Edmonton, and it's going to select the Edmonton location that we want. So it's going to go ahead and click save, and now we have Edmonton added. And that's what we were looking for. Yeah, after that, let's go to delete location. We're going to run this method, delete location. And this time it should delete the Edmonton location, right? So again, we drag this over. We see that it signs in. It should sign in right here. So it's going to enter the email and password to sign in. Yep, it signs in. Give it some time to load. Goes to edit location. And now it's going to delete the Edmonton location right here. So give it some time. It deletes it. And now the Edmonton location is gone. Yeah. So that is basically how we tested WeatherTest. And these are just basic classes and methods that you can create to test whatever website you want to test. And I just hope that this video sort of gives you a guideline on how to build your own project with whatever website you want to test. Yeah, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And yeah, thank you for listening. We look forward to seeing you again.